welcome back to the channel here. This is Ryan Aranda, and we're going to be covering a video here today by Moon, right? I really like this channel. It's a good documentary channel. We're going to be doing a reaction video here to this newest video I just saw pop up. I have not seen it yet. It played a little bit. I didn't actually watch it. The video is called "Men Are Slowly Giving Up and Nobody Cares," right? And I know that some of you folks don't like that I cover stuff from back home in the States, right? But it's important, man. I was one of these guys who I didn't give up. I did the exact opposite, right? But I know that there's a lot of guys who give up, and moving abroad is, if you have the willpower and the dedication, it can solve a lot of these issues. I don't even know what they all are yet. I mean, I can take a guess, right? Stuff that we've covered and I've talked about before in my personal life, trends I've seen in society, trends I've seen play out with my friends, young men in general, right? So anyways, I hope I'm not echoing too much, you guys. I tried to get the volume right. I'm sorry if the volume or the sound quality is a little bit off. So anyways, I don't know, I forgot if I introduced myself, but I am Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay. Sorry if I said that twice. This is like my third take here. So anyways, you guys, yeah, that's the reason. I was one of these guys who just felt lost, not even a couple of years ago. And even just 3.5 months ago, I was in the States, I was not doing good. Maybe if you guys see me right here, I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm doing better. Am I where I want to be perfectly? No, not even close. I still have a way to go. But I'm doing better. And I'm happier overall being here overseas, right? So we're going to take a look at this video. We're going to see this breakdown, and just see what I think about it. All right, let's get into it.
Increasingly, more and more men are giving up on relationships, careers, and society as a whole. Resentment is growing, unemployment is becoming rampant, and keeping your head above water seems almost impossible for many men today. This is leading to more men than ever dropping out of society entirely. And it's not just that, men are becoming infantilized. With terms like adulting now becoming normal, it's clear that something ugly is happening that needs to be addressed. We live in such a strained, unnatural environment that is bound to start to wear on society, but men in particular are battling to keep up and are slowly giving up on dreams, giving up on trying, and giving up on doing anything constructive. And for a large part, it's really not their fault, as this trend isn't just a personal struggle, but a societal issue that we must urgently address. So why is this happening? And why has it gotten so bad in 2024? On the surface, it's a long and complicated story. Life has never been simple for any human, and objectively speaking, for men in the West today, it's never been better. We have all the technology we need, food delivered to your door with the tap of a finger, dating readily available to anyone with a simple swipe. Any products, items, or experiences that you want can be had with the tap of your phone. But over time, all of these comforts of life destroys the importance and necessity of struggle. Without any value placed on higher goals, where there just is no reason to care, means there's no reason for people to properly live or have the will to achieve greatness, which is probably why 40% of young men aged 18 to 45 meet the criteria for depression, and 49% of 18 to 23-year-olds have had a thought of passing themselves in the past 2 weeks alone. And we're seeing the symptoms of this problem everywhere. The sapping away of our vision and ambition permeates in all aspects of modern society today. Our culture, our
Dang, man, that's really sad. Well, I mean, that's out of control, man. That's out of control. I've had my mental health struggles and whatnot. I was much too hard on myself. I was very impulsive in certain moments, and I thought that the better thing was to just give up, right? At certain points in my life, and anybody who's watching this who is struggling. It's not the way out, man. It's really not. And women, but I imagine there's mostly going to be guys seeing this reaction video. And I don't mean to come at you like I don't understand, because I do understand, right? I've almost went to an early grave twice myself. I know I bring that up, and for some folks who don't want to hear that, I'm sorry, but I know maybe you just want to just hear travel content, and believe me, there's a lot of videos on my channel that are travel content stuff. But I know what it's like to be at wit's end. I know what it's like to feel like nothing's going right. Like uh, economically, in a relationship, projection of your life, um, traumas that need to be dealt with, whether they're personal, individual, or societal. A lot of this stuff is going to go into societal stuff. But I feel you guys, and like moving abroad, man, like it can heal you. Um, you guys can probably already tell, like I'm happier, in the process of love, getting healthier physically. There's still stuff I deal with for sure, but I don't feel as highly anxious or depressed, right? That we just saw these numbers here. So anyways, yeah, you guys, like, I just want to, I always want to remind that to you, because no matter how much my channel grows, clout I may receive or get or whatever the hell, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, I've been in your shoes, and I feel you. So there's a way out. It's called utilizing your dollar. It's called going to a nation that will appreciate you, because we know that our nations don't. Yeah, as a Western, most of our Western countries. So let's continue here.
Architecture, relationships, bodies, and minds. Past civilizations before us have always placed their emphasis on beauty, wisdom, and logic for all the population to see, with great town squares, bustling with art, life, and community. These things were placed above all else as the bedrock of their societies, laying out a code of honor and struggle in its people to achieve greatness. Comforts were shown in art and culture, but as an aspiration for achieving something great, for following your mastery. But today our cities are mostly devoid of all of this character, and instead they're marked out by the most cost-efficient, bland, and sterile designs to facilitate a simpler, self-motivated purpose. It's why people flock all over the world to a handful of remaining cities that retain their centuries-old charm to feel and experience the character of bygone societies that were motivated by higher ideals. Ideals greater than our modern two-dimensional ways of thinking. With the prioritization of comfort, lust, and opulence, and flashy materialism over individual excellence and greater community, we're now reeling in the aftermath, becoming instead a generation of mandated mediocrity. And does this explain why men today seem to struggle more than ever while seemingly having more than ever? America in particular is not actually in a recession. In fact, on paper, the economy looks like the best it's been in a while. Unemployment has dropped, GDP is up, but what the people are actually experiencing is a completely different story. We can see this in a study by the University of Michigan on consumer sentiments, which gathers data based on how consumers feel about the current state of finances. In 2022,
before we get into the cost of living, but what you was just saying before, the living in an individualistic society, I just talked about this with Jose Arteaga, in the interview I did with him about, like, you're when you come to a place like Paraguay, like it's more about keeping the peace, keeping things flowing, on a communal level. You're not the most important person, man. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's some individualism here for sure. This is not like ancient times. We're going that far back, right? But like, there's still healthy society in other places in the world, like here, like in Mexico, like in other countries who hold traditions to heart, who hold family values, and not the fake family values that they talk about in the States. Not talked about by a bunch of hypocrites, but I'm talking about serious family values. You know what I mean? If you step out of your bubble, you can actually have a fighting chance at experiencing something that's just not a perpetually degenerate individualistic society. Give your chance to experience something else. Travel first, residency second, and then live third. That's the formula, that you young men need to be taking. I know only a handful are actually gonna to listen and follow through, but I mean, what's the alternative? The alternative is this. The alternative is putting up with this shit. So, all right, let's just hear out the cost of living, how that's going.
It dropped to an all-time low. Prices of our average daily needs like gas and food have increased in unbearable percentages. In contrast, salary increases do not match, putting a high strain on budgets.
Inflation is showing no signs of slowing down as Americans pay over $1,000 a month more on the same essentials we were buying 3 years ago. Nothing's changed but price. The latest consumer price index for March showing
Real quick, and also if you watch the interview I did with Simone Boydouin, a French Canadian, Simon Boydouin, I believe. He was just saying that like literally in the span of what 3 to 4 years, in Canada, prices went up from like 1,400 to like 2,200 to 2,400 overnight. Yeah, I say overnight, like over like the span of like a couple of years, but for us, that's like essentially overnight. Sometimes actually can pretty much literally be overnight. Like, they'll give you 3 months and tell you your stuff's gonna be, if you're renting, like, whatever they have to, in the time frame they have to, notify you. And then you have a limited amount of time to decide, right? And you're most likely probably not going to get a raise or a new job with more money to be able to keep up with that. Like mine got raised $200 off the bat, and I was like, other people are taking harder hits. I know people who have had theirs raised $350 to $400, like, and they weren't expecting it, right? Because like there's one place where I didn't live anymore. It was on the west side of Madison, and it was like a community that always had fair pricing because it was run by real people, but they sold out to a corporation, and that corporation started maximizing on profit. It went from like 800 to 900 to like maybe under 1,000, and then it shot up to like 1,400. You know what I mean? And like, I mean, that was astronomical. And then you throw things like they're gonna say about like groceries and stuff. Yeah, anyways, the Canadian was also saying that like that he knows people that do the little Walmart Plus thing, and just like click reorder, and then so they'll go back in time and be like, for the exact same items, these things per month jump, like they're saying, like $1,000 a month, or whatever, like probably that would probably be maybe two people or a family, I'm not sure. But even for one person, it hits hard. So, all right, let's hear it out.
basic necessities like our food, housing, and gas are all continuing to cripple Americans' wallets with higher prices.
Our wages are actually down against inflation since Biden took office. So not only are prices soaring, but our wages, at least if you measure hourly wages, are not keeping up at all.
Keeping your head above water has become the new normal instead of owning a home with a white picket fence. The rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer, with the middle...
I'm not going to get overly political here, but like, do I agree that a lot of things are Biden's fault? Yes. Do I think that the economy as a whole is all his fault? No. I think that it's a series of events that happened well before him, when he took office, and even before Trump took office, and even before that. I think this has been in play for a long time. You know what I mean? And the problems just get kicked down the road, right? And nobody actually deals with it. And then, it can get out of control with any president, really. Are there things that you could be proactive to try to take care of it? The problem? Yeah. But as far as I can tell, no politician, and red or blue, has done that or is going to be doing that. I'm like, who's the last president who actually balanced the budget? Wasn't it like Clinton or something like that? And then after that, it just like, nobody's truly been able to, you know what I mean? So, I mean, this has been in play through our entire lives, Are we feeling the brunt here in from 2022 to 2024 and even before that? Yeah. But, to put it all on one man, I don't think so. Oh, do I put a lot on him? Oh, for sure. Do I think that he's He's a saint-like and FDR in the flesh, in the 2024 flesh, and John F. Kennedy himself. Absolutely not. I think he's going to go down in history as being a do-nothing, as essentially a do-nothing, right? I think he's done a couple good things when it comes to foreign relations, national security, but then he does a couple things that aren't good for our national security. Overall, he's a do-nothing. He's going to go down in history as like one of those forgotten presidents. He's no fucking FDR. He's no John F. Kennedy. Like, get out of here, you know? So anyways, not going to get overly political, but, you know, yeah, whatever. Let's keep going.
Class disintegrating completely. All the knowledge of the past of just going to college, getting a job, and buying a home immediately is just completely irrelevant for anyone working and living in 2024. Universities are skyrocketing in prices to absurd levels. The housing market is in a complete giant bubble. Everyone's sending out job applications more and more, even while using these automated testing systems, applying up to 100 jobs a day and still not getting anywhere. All the while major companies repeatedly tell us that they can't find any workers for their companies. And the results of this are clear. People are drifting towards more unfulfilling jobs, or just not even having a job at all, while the rich buy up resources, real estate, and everything that used to be the cornerstones of the middle class. It is now just an investment hidden through an offshore bank account for some giant investment fund.
Basically, what they want to do is create a nation of renters. BlackRock coming in and giving them more money than the house is worth.
How much more do they give them?
They can give them, 30% above.
Really?
Which is money. And it's
lease those
BlackRock.
homes out.
And they lease them out. It's part of this idea that home ownership and automobile ownership and all of these things, these legacy systems that people want to get rid of. And they go, rent a house, use Uber, Lyft, whatever. You don't need to own. What does owning do for you? That's that famous article, you'll own nothing and be happy.
Right.
And because of this, all saving plans for regular people are halted because living paycheck to paycheck means there just isn't enough for a savings plan. And whilst there is still some hope to dig your way out, for most this does begin a damaged path. People end up working in a job that's not in their field, something that they hate to do every day, and eliminates the experience they need for the job in their field. And so even the experience they are getting is just completely useless for getting back on track. In effect, their now entry-level position is further deviating them from becoming lawyers, psychologists, or whichever career path they studied for. And if the middle class is experiencing this, then the lower earners are feeling this even more. The jobs they once had a chance of landing now go to the middle class, while they get hit a bump lower, which is putting millions of people in dire straits. They face working twice as hard for minimum wage, juggling between jobs, partaking in the gig economy with absolutely no security, all with an extreme pressure to keep up with daily expenses in a completely overpriced megacity. And the truth is, both middle and lower earners are now taking a huge hit to their egos. They feel disrespected through no fault of their own. As no man wants to feel like a failure. They don't want to feel like they're not providing or on their destiny. Imagine putting in the hours and effort to get a degree and then...
Yes, the worst thing as a man is to lose your hopelessness and purpose. We could talk about everything under the sun beyond that, but those are essentially the top two things. If you begin to go down the path of hopelessness, then there's no purpose. And if there's no purpose, then there's less action taken. And yeah, I agree with this whole take so far. We're gaslit right and left too, and it just feels unfair. And I get like why in the very beginning, why I said men are giving up, and I understand, it's not fun. It's not funny. Especially when it comes to this stuff, maybe some of the degenerate dating situation might be a little bit funny. Here and there, a little bit, whatever, but this stuff sure isn't, you know what I mean? So anyways, let's keep going.
Having to take a job that's not even within the field you studied for. Well, this is just regular life for most people nowadays. It's making men feel incredibly depressed and isolated. They watch all this stuff on social media, they see people flexing the Rolexes on their Instagram stories. Meanwhile, they're struggling to survive, living a life they absolutely hate. And when friends and family ask about it, they suffer the humiliation of explaining why they had to take what was available. Even though it isn't humiliating at all, and they're doing what they can to survive, it definitely takes a huge effect on their mental health. Especially as it wasn't that long ago, where it was actually normal to enter the workforce with a mentor who would show you the ropes and encourage you and push you to learn more. Starting at the bottom didn't seem so bad because there was an opportunity to grow and reap more rewards, but this imperative step is slowly slipping away. Companies of prestige have forgotten the generation with no experience, and for many companies, this is what they want. This is actually the ideal scenario, where they have people so desperate, so in need of experience, that they can treat their workers like absolute trash. Since the 1980s, testosterone levels have dropped more than 50%, and yet we're taught to ignore it. Why? Because there's a coordinated effort to suppress masculinity and turn men into something they were never meant to be. This decline is no accident. We're constantly exposed to harmful chemicals in our food and everyday products, bombarded with estrogenic chemicals from plastics, junk food, and sedentary lifestyles, which is why testosterone levels have been declining for decades, with a 17% drop among 60-year-olds in 2004 compared to 1987. Sperm count and strength in men are also decreasing exponentially, with a 32.5% decrease in mean sperm concentration in the last 50 years. But here's the good news, there are ways to fight back, and one of the most effective solutions that I found is our sponsor Black Forest's Testosterone with Tomcat Ali. This supplement is packed with two of the most powerful natural testosterone.
Okay, I don't care. Okay. Yeah, but okay, yeah, we'll just stop there. So, yeah, no, well, actually, that last part, I'm eating healthier. The foods aren't as processed here in Paraguay, and especially in the southern cone of South America. You can literally see it in me. I'm not the biggest cardio guy. I'll do some whatever weights or what am I saying, calisthenic stuff. But I'm not the biggest cardio guy ever, to say the least. But even my food intake, right? And then also I don't overeat anymore, and I do think that that's a big chemical shift in my body. Like I don't even feel the need to overeat. You know what I mean? Like in America, I always overate, man, always, dude. And I'm not Mr. fucking fit out here, so I don't want to hear that shit. But but I'm at least on the right path. I'm at least in the country that I know I eat the vegetables and eggs and milk and meats on a daily basis here. So I get it. And I've been consuming this stuff for a solid 3 months now. So, it is better. Yeah. Okay. Let's pick up again.
And take advantage of this amazing 48-hour promo and support me alongside this amazing brand using the link in the description below. The cost of having a job also plays a part in stripping them of their dignity. Transport costs to their job, depending on the amount, could take a huge chunk of their salary, so that at the end of the day, they can only pay for rent or food and not both. A government grant could replace their salaries, and they earn more or less the same amount.
What's also helping to pay the bills is, as I said, the U.S. government, in particular, our disability programs for people who are unable to work. Those programs seem to have morphed away from their original humane intention and now seem to provide an alternative income source to regular employment for several millions, for millions and millions of these guys.
If a job doesn't support your basic needs of a home, food, and transport, it wears thin in justifying the effort for this job, especially if you're not getting any experience. And in most cases, if you go into the gig economy, absolutely no security either, all for minimum wage. There's even a new term called quietly quitting, where you do the bare minimum of your job to the point that you're almost rendered useless and you get fired or simply quit. The fact that this term even exists shows that attention is desperately needed to solve this problem. And while this is happening, it's becoming more and more common for both partners in a household to be living the same life, or even with most males' partners actually being the breadwinner. And whilst this isn't necessarily a problem at all, it is leading to some weird modern problems in the household. Men with families are actually switching their roles with their wives, except they're not actually doing what their wives would do if they were to stay at home.
When you look at what...
Okay, actually, let's hear them out.
I guess in Britain it's called NEET, N-E-E-T. Do you say that also in Australia? Neither employed nor in education or training. When you look at that huge group of well over 6 million prime age men, the story they're telling about their lives is really pretty devastating. It's pretty distressing. They basically don't do civil society. There's almost no worship, almost no volunteering, almost no charitable work. They've got a lot of time on their hands.
Wait. What? We got a lot of time on our hands? For what? wait, hold on here. All right, let's hear about.
that they report doing strangely little help around the home or help with other people at home.
Because of the situation, some men may feel a sense of worthlessness and resentment. Some men might take an hour to clean up the house and fetch the kids, but the rest of the day they sleep or play games. In some cases, the wives work and then come home to finish the chores their husbands were meant to do but didn't. And whilst this might cause huge marriage problems, it still feels better off to the husbands. If asked,
Jesus H. Christ, man. I cannot believe I just heard that, dude. Look, man, if I were ever in a position, well, I don't have a girl, but you know, if I did, and I had to solely depend on her economically, even for a little bit, oh, you best believe I'm going to be the most productive motherfucker I can possibly be. You know, maybe at night we can chill out, but like, oh, during the daytime, yeah, things are going to have to get cleaned and I'll do it. And I'll be looking for a job the whole day because it's not funny, you know, to not be working, or at least not be pursuing something, you know what I mean? You know, if you're not going to be working in a quote unquote stable job, then at least be having a side hustle or something, or like at least be starting a YouTube channel. But then even a YouTube channel, you have to have stuff to actually talk about and be an interesting person. You know what I mean? And like, and have a skill or be a gifted storyteller or something, you know? Like I guess you could do the whole gaming YouTube. Does that even pay? I don't know, man. But like, you know what I mean? And you know, it's just, I mean, that's wild to me, dude. That really is wild to me. Like, wait, you guys are just accepting that role and then not even carrying it out. Like, wait, what? I mean, dude, that's wild, man. Like, I know, okay, whatever, man. Let's just keep going here. This is wild.
what they do for a living, saying they're on a break or working on a project beats the humiliation of saying they work at McDonald's with a useless degree on their back. Men without families have nothing to lose, so they stop working because no woman would even want them anyway. They can't afford to date, they can't afford a family, and since their own families are supportive, it somehow justifies them giving up and staying at home, rather than facing these societal problems head on, with prices rising, getting hired becoming harder and harder by the day, and inequality becoming rampant within society. Most men are just deciding to give up because instead of facing the hardships of having a job, it just seems so much easier to escape, whether it be timely being online, playing video games all day, or hiding behind doing chores at home to show they still have a purpose and are doing their best. The point being that for many men in 2024, if they're gonna be disrespected and feel worthless, they may as well choose the easy way out than a battle. If respect had a currency on how it would affect your life directly, you would see a different picture. A man with a job with high pressure, long hours, doing something that makes him feel degraded would be worth say $100, but staying at home playing games and escaping, all while being with the people he loves, is probably worth $200 because of how it affects him. This explains why more and more men are deciding to drop out of society rather than face it head on, as it just seems to be the easier path. If it's a choice between two paths, one that offers little satisfaction while the other provides comfort, it's easy to see why men are going this route. But the thing is, this is a terrible mistake. And this is creating problems that we've never seen before. If there is...
Yeah, to say the least, you guys. If you're one of these guys and you just totally gave up, and look, man, I'm not talking about mental health wise, right? Like I've been down that road, but I mean diverting to like video games when you have to be building yourself, dude. You have to do something, man. You gotta do something, dude. Oh my God, man. This is why I never played video games, dude. I knew how addicting they were, even just seeing some friends, like even back in like high school days. Like I would remember, God, what would that have even been? Mid or early 2000s, so like what, 2005 to 2009, right? I even remember seeing some folks getting too like addicted to that kind of stuff. And I was always like playing sports and music and stuff, and with my girlfriend and with my friends and stuff. So like that was not my case, but I was just like, I always looked at video games as just stupid. And you know what? Even recently, a group chat back home, all of it revolved around video games. Hey, when you jumping online, bro? When you jumping online, bro? When are you jumping online, bro? Yeah, there'd be other stuff too. We would be memes and the funny stuff, and I would participate in that. But like, I didn't want to keep up with the fucking group chat just to, I don't know, bro. And I was like, I'm like, I don't even fucking play video games, dude. I was deep into learning stuff on YouTube, and I knew that one day I would start my own YouTube channel. Now I knew that I wanted to like actually live something while I did a YouTube channel, to be able to have a little bit of credibility and authenticity behind me. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I'm authentic no matter what, but the credibility part, right? Um, and for the guys in the States, who start YouTube channels and have zero intention of leaving. I mean, they have to be doing some kind of self-improvement stuff, or they have to be like showing they're very gifted at something. You know what I mean? Even if it's like a barber channel and you're teaching people how to do different style haircuts or something, like, at least you're like doing something productive, like here, if you're just consuming stuff forever, dude, it's ridiculous, man. Okay, let's keep going.
There is no emphasis or any facilitation of the need to aspire to something greater, and the game seems rigged to most who are playing it. It's hardly a surprise record numbers of men are dropping out and giving up on the game entirely. The problem is that there's a huge group of men, roughly about 7 million in America between the ages of 25 and 55, who are not working and are actively not looking for work. Now, COVID certainly had a hand in accelerating these figures. One question posed to these dropouts was how many of these men were on pain medication, and almost half of these men admitted to taking pain medication daily. And aside from those who desperately need it, these figures could indicate that men are aimlessly numbing themselves to their new reality. And this is great for society, as people don't have to deal with this huge problem. And what's even more shocking is that 40% of these men do have some kind of degree.
What sort of men are in this group? Demographically, education, family structure, ethnicity, who makes up this group?
Surprisingly large, representation of guys with college or even college degrees. 40% of this group has at least some college, and as I recall, about a fifth or a sixth are college grads.
The decision to be in this state is clear.
Okay, this does bother me, dude. Why do they always have old folks speaking for us? You know what I mean? Like, you could ask me. Ain't nobody asking me. Ain't nobody asking my homies back home. Like, why is this some, like, fucking professor they just found, like, ooh, let's really contemplate this problem here. Oh, my God, let's contemplate it, you guys. We're living in the fucking clouds. I have probably, like 3 houses and, like, fucking a car and a backup car and a backup car for that backup car. But like, here, let me try to contemplate the younger generation. It's like, dude, and even this video is kind of I mean, bring on some. I know there's a lot of B-roll, but like, even this video is kind of like, well, we're the actual guys. Ask them. You know what I mean? Okay, come on.
Closely related to changing times. We've already discussed the effects of brain rot in another upload, which disabled problem solving in Generation Z and has already presented problems in finding jobs. They are quick to quit at the first difficult task and move on to find something else, but what happens when
job hoppers? Oh, okay, here, let me address this. Okay, you know why we're job hoppers? Because we saw our parents get laid off. I talk about that, man. Like, my dad got laid off in the '08 crisis. I said, man, fuck being loyal to a company or even an institution, for that matter. You know what I mean? I'm just like, dude, hell no. Are you kidding me? So like, bro, I mean, you can't blame us for that. I'm not even Gen Z. I'm a millennial, but like, you can't blame us for that. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? All right, man.
options run dry and they find themselves simply stuck in limbo. Giving up seems to be the next step, and accepting that is easy when they're discouraged by the situation. Working off of surveys, the data compiled indicates that these men are not only not working, but they're cutting themselves off from their communities, or there's no incentivization for them to even have any community in the first place. They're hiding out because going out would mean meeting new people who might oppose their lifestyles. It makes it uncomfortable. Why leave when you can just aimlessly watch brain rot content and numb yourself with weed or pain medication and stay inside in the warm comfort of home, and any sexual needs you have can be satisfied with pixels on a screen. This lifestyle is increasingly becoming more and more normal for men in the West. But what's
Okay, no, I mean, yes, a lot of guys do this, and I sort of was one of them. Like, I was kind of like that couch guy who was on YouTube too much, a little bit too much. Yeah, even me. But like a lot of that was because I couldn't afford to do anything, and like I had to be serious about saving for this move in my life. So, I unfortunately, yeah, I would take my dog out, but like, I wasn't going out to bars and restaurants like that and like, like on a fucking on like 2 or 3 times a week. No, dude, I would just fuck out of here, dude. Like maybe once a month. Like maybe I'd order in a little bit too much. You know what I mean? But that also kind of went with the depression too. I was like, dude, because like it got depressing always cooking for myself. Like before I was like used to like cooking for at least 2 people, and then even when I would cook for myself, like I try to make a decent amount for like food prep, but then even then I would have a lot more than I needed, and I would give it to my parents. And so they had lasagnas and all kinds of pastas and dishes that I would and jambalaya and whatever I would make back home. That they would get that from me, but just because like I was used to making bigger meals anyways. But like whatever, man, whatever. That's a total tangent. But the thing is, like, I understand, and like this, it's not just because people are giving up. It's because people can't afford to just like go out and just like, oh yeah, let me just go out with my friends tonight. It's like, okay, well, you're gonna drop like $50, $100. You know what I mean? And it's like you do that consistent enough. Well, there goes the money that you should be saving for something. So anyways, let's see what's up here.
Important to note is that men don't want to be this way. It's a horrible lifestyle, it's depressing, it's atomizing. What this really is just a coping mechanism or a form of self-defense against a society that's becoming increasingly hostile to these men. Up until recently, the problem has been invisible. These figures weren't shown in any statistics or surveys because they slipped through the cracks until very recently. So why did they slip through the cracks? Well, it's easy to see. They simply don't fit the victim criteria. Some have degrees, they're in the prime of their lives, and it was their choice to quit. It's easily overlooked and only comes to light as the numbers rise. Nicholas Upstart wrote a book called Men Without Work, and has since exposed and addressed the problems in his book. He says he is trained to look for hidden in plain sight problems, which is how he stumbled upon this issue. You see, these men are not causing trouble, at least for now, and they don't seem to be drawing any attention to themselves. On the contrary, they keep to themselves. So surveys and statistics just don't include them at all. They don't even register on the scale, and people in society think this is a joke issue. And it's also reasonable to conclude that some of these men may work, but in the underground economy. Work like formal cash jobs, or even shady legal ways of making money. But of course, this is just a minor portion of these men. We need to address the problem head on. How is the situation getting this bad? These men have completely lost their purpose in life. All of their duty, their hopes, their responsibilities, their own dignity and value. It's being completely decimated at the moment. And we're seeing this with a form of radicalization online, growing hatred and division, and a general apathy towards society as a whole. And the longer this is ignored, the harder it's going to be addressed down the line. More men today than ever feel disconnected, disillusioned, and left behind by a world that seems increasingly indifferent to their struggles. While GDP numbers and employment stats may sound like an easy, good solution on paper, especially to government bureaucracies, it will never really fix the reality of the situation for normal people. The real challenge we face today in the West is to find purpose and meaning again, to have any reason to even want to participate and achieve greatness in society. We should focus on creating environments where people can thrive, where beauty, philosophy, and higher noble pursuits are actively encouraged by the cities and countries that we inhabit, which would give millions of men a reason to care again.
Yeah, looks like that's it. I just want to hear that one last part one more time.
We should focus on creating environments where people can thrive, where beauty, philosophy, and higher noble pursuits are actively encouraged by the cities and countries that we inhabit, which would give millions of men a reason to care again.
Yeah, we don't incentivize having families. This is where I will bring up degeneracy when it comes to marriage and dating and stuff. Like there's a rise of incels and boss babes, and I don't need no man, and I'm just gonna I don't care about children, and okay, for those who seriously don't or can't, I feel you, but for there to be so many people following trends like, oh, I don't need no stinking man, or like, I'm like, you guys understand, you're gonna regret that, and men are too. The men that are giving up in this video, oh, they're gonna regret it too. You know what I mean? Men have more time to get themselves together, but at least what I'm seeing, a lot of them just won't. A lot of them are just gonna slip into the depths of darkness, just like this video is talking about here. Um, let's pause it right there. See. And, they're just going to slip
By the
in the...
cities and countries that we inhabit, which would give millions of men a reason to care again.
All right, let's keep that up there. Yeah, I absolutely agree with this. We should focus on creating environments where people can thrive, where beauty and philosophy and higher level pursuits are actively encouraged by the cities and countries that we inhabit. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not, for all the family value politicians out there, they don't give a shit, dude. Are you kidding me? And even like the some of the things that were decent, like the child tax or the child tax credit. That was like one good thing in the last like 4 years that came of anything, Of course, that went away. And like there should be more tax credits for families. There should be systems for if you're trying to purchase your first house as a married couple, even without kids yet. There needs to be some kind of, because houses are just so incredibly unaffordable, there needs to be the state, right, the government to step in and say, okay, look, we're going to subsidize part of this for you, right? Because it's important to keep a healthy society going. Now, do they care? Hell no, they don't care. They just care about the corporations that are funding them, So, it's point the fingers to the top, right? It's not this generation or that generation or men or women. It's to the top, right? And I know, like, the ultra feminists will be like, it's all men. It's the patriarchy. I'm like, well, last time I checked, there's a lot of freaking women out there that are politicians, the Nancy Pelosi's who don't give a fuck about us either, the Hillary Clintons that don't give a fuck about us either. I'll even say the Kamala Harrises that don't give a fuck about us either. So, no, it's not just men. There's plenty of women in the government body that aren't doing a goddamn thing either. Or they're working against us, right? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, you guys. No amount of voting red or blue is gonna fucking change this shit. You got to change this shit. Oh my God, man. You know what I mean? And like, even if you just like try to give yourself some time, like overseas, take a break, but don't take a break like this. Like, I mean, like take like a strategic break, right? Where you can be in a new environment and start to thrive and like maybe build something, even if it's an online thing, even if it's a YouTube channel, then branch out from there. You know what I mean? Like something, you guys, like, oh, for the love of God, dude. At least try, because what else is the alternative? Sitting in a society that's going to be keep outpricing you, and you're not going to be earning enough, to keep up. This is not going to stop. This phenomenon is not going to stop. So you better become an extremely high earner at the top levels of society, and then those people, then they don't even feel the need to leave. So like, it has to be some people in the middle somewhere that are like, look, I can save enough where I can, get residency, buy that $30,000, $50,000, $80,000 house in a lower cost of living country, and then figure out expenses for a while, and then see how I can set up a business abroad, see how I can do something online, right? It might take a while, right? I'm not saying this is easy, it could take a year or 2 or 3, but get started now. Please, for the love of God, please get started now, because things aren't going to be easier around the world. Things could really pop off and take off for the worst, right? What if there's a serious crash? You know what I mean? Like it could be so detrimental, dude. It really truly could. The whole theme of this, to be honest, this wasn't the best video. Right, I would have cared for a little bit more of younger men's take themselves, but at the same time, I do kind of understand, because not all the time they're not looking at videos like this. A lot of guys aren't looking at videos. You're trying to understand, or trying to find deeper understanding of societal issues, right? They're just reverting to video games. You know what I mean? Now, if they were took a deep internal look and external look on a healthy way, not just pointing fingers at this group or that group, but I'm talking about like the big picture, the players at the top who are screwing us all, who have no incentive to do right by us, the citizens, right? And it's not sexy to talk about these things. It's not, because it's easier to blame the guy down the street or the lady down the street, instead of focusing your energy towards the top. Or if you don't want to, then do what I did. Then get out. You know what I mean? Give yourself a fighting chance to be happy. Okay. So yeah, man. I mean, I can relate to these guys. I absolutely don't agree with like especially the video games and the overdoing it on porn and stuff. Like, Jesus, you guys, calm down. Like, whatever, man. If you got to get your rocks off of a few times, whatever, dude. Whatever. But like the deep addicts, whether it's and the pill situation, like, oh my God, dude. Try your best, unless you have something serious, but try your best not to get on these fucking pills, like you might not get off them. And you might abuse them, you know what I mean? So I mean, oh my God, you guys, I would love you for all of you guys to move overseas, young men, young women, families. I mean, it's not even a man and women thing. I know I'm covering this as a men's issue, but it really is an issue for families, couples, young women, young men, because you're all feeling the economic crunch. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not, I hate to be gaslit about it. That's why I'm not cracking jokes right now. I'm just being serious, but like, yeah, it's just unrelenting, dude, the economy. And, if you're going to go into debt for something, like go into debt for the right things, like, for residency, and then, pay it off. But like, if you're going to go into debt for like a $50,000 car, like seriously, you guys, like that 50,000 could, I mean, Jesus, man, you could do so much with $50,000 here, right? I mean, I won't even go down that path and explain it, because I explain that stuff all the time, but like, it's just wild, dude. If you go into some debt to like change your life for the better, okay, that's one thing. But like to go and like spend it all on like a material item that's not even like a house that I mean, you're never gonna get a house in the States for $50K. I mean, you're dreaming, dude. Anywhere halfway decent, you're not. You might get a like little shack out in the middle of nowhere that you're gonna have to spend $100K to fix up or something like that. But yeah, I mean, oh my God, you guys. Anyways, this is pretty depressing stuff. Sorry guys, it's super late here. I need to get to bed, but damn, I need to fold my clothes first. Or not fold them, hang them up. Old school stuff, man. The old country, Paraguay, right? Anyways, this is Ryan Aranda. You guys know what my solution is. Get out of the country. I mean, what is cost of living, dating, all that stuff's gonna improve, man. I'm like, give yourself a chance in life, dude, to like do something new. Like, hell, even if you go back and quote unquote fail, you'll at least tried. You can at least go to your deathbed. You know what? I took a chance. Maybe that didn't work, but I'm gonna do something else, and I'm gonna figure this stuff out. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself a fighting chance in life, ladies and gentlemen. Not just gentlemen, but ladies and gentlemen, families, couples, whatever. All right, you guys. Love you guys. Take care. Get some sleep, you guys. All right. I said I wouldn't crack jokes. I'm cracking jokes. Oh, geez. Oh, geez, you guys. Stop playing your video games, you guys. For the love of Christ, Okay. And get off TikTok. It's mostly girls are just crazy about TikTok, but anyway, I guess some guys too. Okay, I want to shut up. All right, you guys, I'm out. Hopefully you enjoy this video. I know it's depressing, but I wanted to cover it, see if I can relate. I do relate in some ways I don't. You know what I mean? Anyways, I am out. Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay, and go live your best life. Figure it out. All right. Peace, guys.